Welcome back. In this video, we'll walk through how to fill out and submit an audit fund balance report. To begin, log into UnityWeb and click on the entity you wish to submit a report for. Now, these reports are generally submitted on an annual basis. However, since they're not restricted to being submitted during a charge conference, they're not part of the charge conference process. You'll see there's a link here for church annual fund balance reports. However, some multi-point charges will submit one annual balance fund together. So there's a second link here under the charge. Okay. You should use the one that best suits your situation. You don't have to fill out both. They're redundant. And since they work identically, I'm just going to pick the church one here and move forward to demonstrate it with you. To begin, click on the link. This is going to give you a list of all the annual fund balance reports that have been submitted. To create a new one, you go ahead and hit the Add New button. All right, so here's the form. The first parts are pretty straightforward. You need to enter in a beginning date. I'm going to pick 1/1 of 2024, and I'm going to pick 7/1/31/2024. Now, generally, you'll do this for a year, but there are cases where you need to do it shorter. It's whatever works for you. The next part, and the most important part here, is the fund list. Let me walk you through how these columns work, because this is the one we get the most questions for. Each fund is represented by a row here, and then for each row you have a series of calculation fields. From left to right, you'll want to see the beginning balance. You'll want to enter in receipts. That's any money received or deposited into the fund, notwithstanding other columns you see here. Disbursements. This is money that you've withdrawn from the fund for various reasons, again, notwithstanding the other options here. Please note that you want to fill this out as a positive number because it will be subtracted. So for instance, if I type in 1,000 here, the system's going to calculate it as 1,000 plus 1,000 minus 1,000 there. Investment gains and losses. This column has been recently added as of the time of this recording. It was to help separate this from other receipts and disbursements. If the account has gained or lost value due to investments, dividends, interest, so on and so forth, you put this here. Now, unlike the other columns that we talked about before, you put this in as a positive or negative number because the number can fluctuate up or down. So for instance, if you gained 100, you put in a positive. If you lost 200 in investments, you're that unlucky, you put this in as a negative 100. The next column is transfers, and I get the most questions about this one. Transfers, this column is used exclusively when you need to move money from one fund to the next, and the other fund is on this list. Transfers to things outside your funds list should be listed as disbursements or receipts, depending on which direction it's going for them. As such, this column needs to net to zero. So for instance, if I move money from the general fund to the Board of Trustees, I would do it this way, a negative 100 and a positive 100. Obviously, a whole year in review, you won't have one of these transfers. You'll probably have several. So what you're looking for is the net amount. And again, when I add up all these amounts here, straight down this column, it needs to net to zero. Finally, the ending balance should be the net change across. So your beginning balance plus receipts minus disbursements, and then you factor in investment gains and losses and transfers, and that should be your ending balance. Here's a quick graphic of that formula with kind of the reminders. Beginning balance plus receipts, always positive, minus disbursements, again, always entered as positive. And then the system adds in the investment gains and losses. So if you put a negative number here, it'll subtract. And if you put a positive number, it'll add. Same thing with transfers. If you put a positive number, that means that the fund has received money via transfer. If you put in a negative number, it means you've taken money out of that fund and put it elsewhere. Right. I'm going to go ahead and fill out the rest of this. For funds that you don't use, what you'll want to do is check the box here for the funds you don't use and remove them. Similarly, if you have custom funds that you do, you'll hit that Add Item button, and it'll give you an option to type in your own fund. Once you've finished with a report, go ahead and hit the Submit button. Once you've submitted the report, it'll appear in this list. You have options to go back into the report to edit it. Next, you would view it. Here, this button pops up a link to a printable PDF version of this report, which you can download by hitting this button, or you can print by hitting this one. Once you've printed it out and obtained the signatures, you can scan the signed copy back in and hit this button to upload the attachment. Clicking that will put the attachment there, and so now the system both has an electronic copy of the original report and a signed copy uploaded as an attachment. This concludes anything you need to do. If you have any questions about individual amounts or situations, your district office should be happy to help you out. This concludes our review. Thanks so much, and have a good day.